I'm live. I finished yesterday or day before yesterday in the middle of a chapter of The Laird and the Lady. It is a romantic book, novel by Joan Marshall Grant. It was published in 1949 and it's the story of Marylda and Rowan. Marylda is a very rich American heiress and Rowan is then an heir to a Highland castle where he lives with his grandmother Georgina. We are finding out quite a lot of family secrets here, and this is we're now in the third part, and this is chapter 2, second shot, and I continue where I left off last time because the battery went empty. So this is going to be short because I almost finished it. Rowan wasn't peeved that I sloped off by myself after the last drive. How fortunate I've become such an expert liar, thought Georgina. I don't think he noticed you'd gone. He was looking for a bird that had fallen rather far back. You mean after he shot the roe deer? She accelerated to conceal her agitation. Had she asked the wrong question? Did the deer belong only to Emilie's time? Georgina hesitated. Should she admit the stag? She noticed a streak of blood on Marylda's skirt. He went to look for the bird after the stag when you'd gone to the car. Better to pretend to be frank. You're sure no one noticed that I suddenly felt sick when I saw it dying? Rowan doesn't like me to be squeamish. No one noticed anything odd. Did I say that too vehemently? No, I think she is convinced. I'd better telephone to Rowan to make sure he doesn't say anything tactless. Bother, that inquisitive child at the exchange is sure to listen in. Mustn't risk that happening. We'll go to bed early and then I'll come downstairs again to wait for Rowan. Marylda would have preferred to stay up until her husband returned, but as Georgina asked her to come and say good night after her bath, it would have been tactless to refuse. Until she was alone, it was not safe to consider the full implications of what she'd learned today. So Emilie was having a baby, Hector's baby, which made it quite certain that she hadn't run away with a chauffeur. Emilie's baby had never been born. She must be very careful not to start a baby herself until she knows she was no longer vulnerable to the past. Rowan would be disappointed. He might even be angry, but she had to protect him and the children they would have when everything was safe. But now, nothing was safe. Today, the echo had become so real that she had nearly allowed the pattern to repeat. What would happen if the pattern, which kept Emilie here, was too strong for her to break? Dare I tell Duncan? No, I've got to take this entirely alone. Duncan thinks he's fallen in love with me. I mustn't let him tell me, or it will make him feel disloyal to Rowan. He'll try very hard to pretend he feels no more than ordinary affection, but if he knows I'm frightened, he might say something silly. He might even threaten to tell Rowan that it's not safe for me to live in Cloud. I've been trying to make everything here more and more like it was in Emilie's time, but now I must impress myself on the house. I needn't go into her wing unless I know I'm in full control of the situation. The rooms we live in must be my rooms. Even the Victorian furniture is associated with her, for it was put back to try to pretend she had never existed. She heard a car come up the drive. I wish I hadn't put the gates back, but it's too late to change my mind now. How can I alter everything in this room and the drawing room and the dining room before Christmas? The library doesn't matter. It used to be Hector's study and Emilie never went in there. She said it was because she didn't like the smell of cigar smoke. And this is the end of the second short chapter of The Laird and the Lady. The next chapter, chapter 3, is housewarming, and I read that separately.